Hi guys, welcome back to Listen This tonight. As usual, we have Mr. Nubian Griot here with us.
Yep.
And tonight's topic is one that it's thought provoking and it raises a lot of issues. So let's just get straight into it. So it says, I am a 43-year-old, so we know that this person is not a baby. I have been married for 12 years and have two children with my husband. I am a party person and my husband is not. I have been dying to go to Trinidad for Carnival this year, but my husband is adamantly against it. I kept quiet about it for a while and recently messaged him and told him that I have booked a ticket to go. He insisted that he thinks it's a bad idea. He says it's not financially responsible and it's in the middle of the children's school term. I really want to go and jump in my costume. After telling him that I booked the ticket and accommodation, he claimed my actions were disrespectful and said that he hopes it's worth it as he can't be with someone who would do such a thing against his wishes while being married. He has since moved out of the house and has cut communications. What is your opinion on this? Am I wrong for deciding to fly to Trinidad for Carnival despite him being against it, or should I respect my opinion on the matter over his? I don't really want to start.
There is so much things wrong with that.
I know.
Yes.
I
Yes.
know.
hmm One, it means that if she's in a marriage for 12 years,
Hmm.
I'm guessing she would have known him prior to the 12-year marriage. So
We
let's
would
say, let's
hope.
call it a year before,
Hmm.
just for argument's sake. So she have known this individual for at least 13 years
Hmm.
and still can't define what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, where the boundaries are in the relationship. Because, but I could only put myself in his shoes and
Hmm.
say, she should know what my boundaries are. That's one.
Hmm.
Um, she should be able to understand if I say this thing can't happen, then it just can't happen. It's financially irresponsible, one. Two, she clearly outlined that he has an issue with her going during the kids'
Hmm.
school term. So she's abandoning all of her responsibilities to the
Hmm.
family, to the union, to the children, to the household, to her husband, just for the sake of partying. And it speaks to her emotional intelligence. Well, this is
Hmm.
what I wanted you to go and party, so I'm going to party.
Okay.
And it doesn't work like that. As I said, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. After you're done in your 40s, that sort of behavior is unnecessary because I feel as though I'm a protector. Who's supposed to protect you out there? And then
Hmm.
what's the cost of that if we have aspirations to do other things? So you're abandoning your core values or what should be your core values just for a night of fun, 2 nights of fun, 3 nights of fun, a week of fun, and then what? Come back to reality and somebody can pick up this slack that you abandoned just to go Trinidad.
Okay. So I have a different point of view
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, and
Sip some
I
wine and let me
feel
this.
that I agree with you. There are many things wrong with this situation, right? Now you're married to a man for 12 years. You should know the man, and the man should know you,
Yep.
right? Where things start is not where they necessarily end, right? So she's now coming to us and telling us about a situation where she wants to go to Trinidad. Why, after 12 years, this is so important to you that you're going to make this step regardless, right? Sounds to me like
She man buy she ticket.
no, no, it sounds to me Like this is a situation where the man is very controlling. She has been with him for 12 years. He doesn't want to do anything with her because he says he's not she says he's not a patio, and she is. But when they were getting married, didn't he know who she was as a female? Didn't she know that
Point.
he is the kind of person that he is? Because a lot of times people want to get married. That's their end goal,
Which is the
right?
person you
Because
possess.
we grow up watching these fairy tales and reading these stories, and they always end with the happily ever after when they get married.
Mm.
What happens after you get married? Because that's where the real work starts. When you're in a serious relationship, that's where the real work starts.
Especially with children.
Exactly. But no, you find that people get married and they pretend to be somebody else. So it could be a situation where she was pretending like, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with staying home and whatever because she won't get married.
Yes.
Or he used to take her out because he wanted to, yeah, he wanted to get her into, and maybe he felt like, oh, but she gonna grow out of this,
Probably that's
right?
where he met her too. Met her in a club.
Yeah, right. So sometimes I feel like this is a perfect example of why people are supposed to get to know each other before they get into these situations, because it is just going to lead to unhappiness. Because we may be looking at it and saying, she's going to Trinidad 2 nights of fun, but maybe the woman miserable for 12 years. Then another huge red flag for me was the fact, and I know a lot of women gonna come for me because women feel like they're supposed to. It's like somebody trains women that they're supposed to live in this kind of servitude and sacrifice their happiness for their family and that kind of thing. Choose a family that you're gonna build a family with somebody that you're gonna be happy with. You meet a man and this man saying things like, oh, I just want us to stay. And you want to go party, go party and look for a man who like to party too. Exactly. And as a man, if you're looking for a female to be in a serious relationship and you know that you have certain ideals, don't go in the club to look for the woman.
But you see, the issue with that is that those type of guys don't have what the guys who don't like to party have. No, I used to learn, and sometimes go by vibes, and you spend $200-300 Friday night. Easy. When you calculate that on an every week basis for an entire year, you're spending real money out there on drinks and socializing. Now, those guys that don't party and don't drink probably they got the other vices, but for the most part, them guys more focus on life, more focus on construction, more focus on building a home, more
building a family.
building a family. And so you see it and you see the guy look focused and you want that because he has acquired stuff over the years, but you haven't stopped to realize how he did it, but you want it. And so you conform for a bit,
but it's not who you are as a person.
It's not who you are as a person. And so it becomes boring, it becomes monotonous.
And it starts to feel restrictive. You start to feel like you are in a cage.
Now, bearing in mind, there are some women who can adapt. Hey, this is where I'm at, and this is the stage where I'm at. I already have one child, expecting another. Listen, that bike is behind me. Let me try to focus on building. Let me try to be his companion. That's Batman. Let me try to be Robin. But they have those who, it's like a little fire within them that flares up, and yeah, I got Trinidad for carnival, no matter the consequences. And so we don't need to discuss
one of the serious red flags that stood out for me? The fact that he is telling her, you can't leave because this is the middle of the children's school term, but he could move out. So as a father, you don't have any responsibility to look after your children. It's okay because your feelings are hurt for you to just decide, oh, she decided this, so I'm going to just move out.
But did he move out with the children?
No. Because it's a sign of manipulation. It's like, okay, when I move,
walk with the children.
Exactly. And a lot of guys tend to do that. They're obsessed with you, so
Everybody
are
pay for it.
gone.
And who ultimately pays
This
that
the
price
children.
is the children.
Because what happens if she decides, listen, I gonna live my life and I am going to be free and I going still.
Yeah.
What happened? She leave the children with a neighbor or she leave the children with a family member. Oh, and things can happen in that situation.
And we've had a lot of these discussions on the radio where you leave your children seemingly in a safe environment, and by the time you're gone and come back, all hell will break loose, and you have a
Exactly.
traumatized child
And all
for
you're
the
gonna
rest of your life.
and you're guilty. A guilty
Yes,
conscience.
yes,
Because
yes,
hindsight is always 2020.
yeah.
Right? So for me again, it goes back to the beginning. We don't talk as a society. We see a man or we see a woman and we say, oh, that person look cool. And then we try to conform into what that person wants because we want to manipulate them into being with us. And then you can manage the situation.
But even talking about that, I remember one time my daughter, I left her with some family members and I went to work because all I wanted to go by the that particular family member. And she got knocked down up New Road, you know? And I could only blame myself, checking why. He said, I wanted to go and me to tell them, let's go. Come on, drop you all there. And she could have died, and I would have lived with that guilt for the rest of my life. And so I've learned as a parent to never be guided by my emotions, one. And also not think put the thing for tomorrow, next week, next month, and also next year, because that is my responsibility. Once my children came into this world, a lot of partying, a lot of things that I used to do prior to that had to stop.
And even as a woman, and I'm happy to hear you say that as a man, because as a woman, I remember when my daughter was little, there are lots of things I couldn't do.
Yeah.
There are lots of things I didn't even want to do for the simple fact that I wasn't leaving my child with anybody to do certain things.
Correct.
And I feel like when you make that conscious decision to have a child, you make the conscious decision. Not everybody, because some people feel like mental health is a serious thing, and some people are overwhelmed and overstimulated by their children and all of that. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm bashing them because they can't do what I did. But for me, nobody was like, houses that catch on fire. All kind of things happen,
yes,
right? And
yes.
I did not want to be in a position that I am not there when they happen. And even in as a single parent, where guys will come around and they're checking you and whatever. Oh well, you can't just leave your child. Leave who child with who? Like no, you have to respect the fact that I am a mother.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
I remember one time my daughter went by her father and I was speaking to a guy and the guy was like, "Oh, at least you get a break." Well, me did tell you me wanted a break from the child.
Exactly.
And I was very offended because I'm like, I don't need a break from my child. This is
Yes,
my
yes.
child.
And once we sign up for that responsibility, it's a lifetime responsibility because even when
Exactly.
they are old and we are older, we still gotta be able to give advice. We still have to be able to say, hey, listen, I might not be able to beat you, but I should be able to tell you when you're going wrong.
Exactly.
Because I've done that same mistake and regretted it. Don't do it. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. But I guess it goes back to, you know, having a clear plan
Yes.
as to the life you want to live. Because, and the ideas that people have about marriage as well.
Yeah.
Because a marriage does not necessarily mean
A life of
that
servitude.
exactly, or you are gonna be trapped in a situation. Because a lot of men feel trapped too. There are a lot of men right here in St. Kitts, they have wives and you never ever 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 see them with a woman yet.
Yeah.
You never see them go anywhere with their wives.
And it speaks to the level of comfort and communication that you have with your partner because there is the level of compromise. Now, I might like certain things about you, and you would not find the perfect person, but there should be that middle ground where you could meet each other halfway. So let's say she likes to party, but she's a professional and she a loving, nurturing type of woman, and she's good with the kids, and she has always had the kids under her wings and dealing with the homework and all the turmoil that comes with children. And he's a breadwinner, he's a protector and all of that, and she's stressed and wants a break. Life is just life in, and she's stressed and need a break. Then, hey, let's go 4 seasons. The ticket costs go down there, the hotel costs, plus your costume costs, plus all the different
It's a house.
costs that trip would incur. Let's take the kids over, or you know, constantly enjoying about it, but let's take the kids over to Nevis and have a nice weekend stay at 4 seasons or Wally or
But you know what
something.
stood out to me too in that same what she wrote? There was no conversation. He just said, listen, you're not going, it's not financially responsible. End of story.
No, well, for me, the disrespectful part comes in where she said, well, I don't reserve my ticket or purchase my ticket and don't make reservations
Yeah,
to
because
go.
she probably just woke up, listen, I tired, I am stressed. I fed up with this man just trying to control my because on a personal level, I am the kind of person I don't like nobody tell me what to do. And I don't like anybody to demand that, not demand, but I don't like anybody to command me, right? So you're gonna come tell me, oh, I forbid you from doing X, Y, Z. We have to have a conversation.
So-
now, if we have that conversation and you say, but I really would prefer if whatever, whatever,
Then you would
I
understand
would
that.
bend, we can compromise.
Okay.
But you ain't gonna feel like you're gonna let down no law. I am not your child. And people not even raising their children like that now. And I look at I know of a guy, right?
But suppose, hold on, stick a pin. Suppose you can't see what your partner is saying. You can't validate it in the sense where you want to go on this trip, and I am telling you, I am not going, and you are not going. There are certain elements to you going there that you just won't understand, you won't comprehend. Leave it alone. Go in your bed. And I'm guessing that wouldn't fly.
Never.
So then,
Okay.
so then he gonna move out.
Again. But then if you want to move over, that is it on him.
Yeah, because you see,
Again.
there's certain things, certain elements,
You
certain
have-
things that a man would see, you would not see.
You have to know your partner. Now, if I am with a level-headed kind of guy, right? And he says to me, Jamie, don't do that. And I know that based on who he is, he only means me well. And it's not a situation where it's every day he come and tell me don't do that and don't do this and sit there and don't that. Then I will listen, right? But you ain't gonna be with me and feel like you're gonna control me, because my spirit is a spirit that will rebel. I have rebelled against every single thing in my life. May I rebel against a man for trying to control me? I almost 50, like you trying to control me?
But a man normally plays a leadership role.
No. And you know something? I feel like society trains us to believe those kind of things, but I didn't get that training. Because you see that laying down the law thing? My father never laid down the law for me yet, ever in life.
Then probably. That's it. That be the
And
problem.
then I was raised by women who were very, 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 very strong and didn't need. Like, I did not see them lacking anything because of the absence of a man.
But probably, if you compare yourself to someone who was in a nucleus family who had mother, father, and everybody, probably you might have a different perspective of
True.
what.
But then I grew up in a nuclear, well, my grandfather and my grandmother. I saw that
Right,
relationship.
but your
And my
grandfather and your grandmother
grandmother,
wouldn't give you that type of leadership
my
that your father would give
grandmother
you.
was very, she was subservient, but she was also a very strong woman, right? So even though she did all that she was supposed to do for him, she took care of him. There was still a feeling like, listen, what Mama said
Mm-hmm.
goes. Yeah, he was like the breadwinner. My grandfather, he was the breadwinner. He was a very strong man as well, but he spent a lot of time working. So it was like when Mama said A,
Is A.
is A.
Okay.
When he come home, if he said A, B, then you had to fall in line too.
Correct.
But it was, and then he died when we were kind of young.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just Mama. So we just, fell in line.
Mm-hmm.
But my father, up to today, if my father realized that I get upset, he end the conversation. So I was not raised to have that. And maybe it's a flaw in my personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was how I was raised because my sister and I were raised the same way and she's completely different. I think it's just me.
You just
I
you
am
just
an
rebellious.
unruly kind of person. So you just have to know how. And it all goes back to being compatible. So if you know you are a man and you see me and like, I feel like you could look at me and see that I am that kind of person. I feel so, right? You're gonna come after me when you know you want a woman who is going to tie up her head,
And be
wear
obedient.
long clothes, and say yes
Mm.
sir or no sir, because a lot of men looking for challenges in life. They're looking to tame people.
Oh no. No.
Women too.
That's a really wrong approach. And that is where you just end up in these sorts of situations where you meet them in the club and you try to take them out the club and
Mm-hmm.
put them in your house. But that's where you meet them. So you should expect that. So, as I said, some people can adapt and say, hey, listen, that life is over, that's behind me, and leave it alone. But I got some, that's where you meet me, that's what you know me as. So why are you trying to change me? We met in the club.
Yeah, but as Novian, having said all of that, I feel like in life, she's 43, so she's not a baby. I feel that there comes a point in your life where growth is important. I don't
It
know if she's
is.
going through a midlife crisis because maybe the man has her like in such a cocoon for all of these years that she feels like it's time for her to like break out. But at 43, you kind of supposed to know what you want.
At 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, up to like 27, you're at the peak of your game. After that, you start the slow decline.
What?
At 40, you're nowhere close in demand.
But I don't think that women out here thinking, you really feel like women out here thinking whether or not they're in the demand?
Let me expound a bit more. So at that age, what's supposed to be at the front of your brain should be the fact that when I'm 50, what am I going to leave for my kids? What the future have in store for me? Am I with somebody that at the end of the day, they have me back and I have their back at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
How can we accumulate something for in the rainy days?
Or maybe,
Because sickness just have to get arthritis, you can't move as brisk, you can't
yeah,
do
you're
this, you
trying to
need,
get
you
up and
need
your back hurting you.
your mortgage that you're struggling for 30 years to pay because you had it when you're 30, so you need it over when you're 60. All of those factors come into play. And so at that age, the woman supposed to be a bit more mentally focused, a bit more
But
mature.
at that age, she may be looking at the fact that, for 12 years, I have been unhappy. I am 43. Do I really want to stay with this man and stay in this relationship for another 20 years of unhappiness? Because a lot of us end up in that situation.
I've seen it. I've
And
seen it
men
played
too.
out. I've seen it
Because you
played
see
out.
men, all of these men, you see them getting divorced when they're like 50 and that kind of thing because they realize, listen, man, I don't want to be with you, you know?
You see, and because it's inversely proportionate, where as a woman get older, she's in what I just mentioned a bit less in demand because they have younger girls out there don't have all those baggages. For a man, it's completely different. For a man now, as he gets older, he starts to acquire things. He starts to look a bit more focused. He has his vehicle, he has his house, he has everything. He look like he has his head on. And as he gets older, he has a wide range of persons that would find him interesting. For a woman, it is different. As she gets older and a bit more wrinkler, her appeal, her market value goes down. And that is what it
And
is.
on that note, we're going to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to speak about the men who are going down the hill too. Hi, welcome back. So, where we left off, Nubian was speaking about he had some kind of, I don't know, misconception
I
about
think so.
women going down the hill after the 30. I don't know.
Yeah, more or less.
But he made the comment about women, about men being more attractive when they're older, right? Is that
Yeah.
what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You realize when you were saying that, you spoke about men acquiring stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the men are really more attractive. They're watching things.
Um,
Just like if a woman is older, she can easily find a young man in his 20s because the man looking for somewhere to stay, they're looking help. So it's the same
no,
situation.
it's not.
Yes, it
I'll
is.
explain why. Um, what happens is that the success that you see that man has acquired, you associate it with him being a good leader, him being mentally focused, him being mature, he knows what he wants, and all of that. And
Where
so
these men?
you're not getting anything from him.
No,
You
look,
might,
and you know what happened? Man don't trouble you, you don't look, man.
for me
Yeah.
personally, oh
That
my.
is why you're not qualified to talk about this. Because the older
So why
guys,
am I not trouble me
no,
to speak
because
about
listen,
it?
because the older guys who try to speak to you, they're no more mature. Half of them retarded. Sorry, that wasn't really politically correct. They behave like they're not too right in their head.
Mm,
Most of the time, when you find men who are a certain age and they're not in a committed relationship, they have children and they don't even know where their children are.
mm,
They have money. They feel like they could buy women. So
okay,
they are going to pick up a certain level of woman,
right. With
right?
certain
They're
characteristics.
trying, yeah, because it's like bribery. And
Yeah.
those same men, those same older men, it's not that they're attractive, but the women like kind of hold their breath because they're trying to get their money. And they're trying to get what they have. And it doesn't have to be money either, but it could be opportunities. because the younger guys don't really have much to give them in terms of assistance, in terms of advice when it comes to certain things,
Right.
right? So these guys don't for yourself. They're mature and they're sensible and they're attractive.
But at the end of the day, this is a male function. The male function in a space where I have to protect and I have to provide. So,
But then they're trying to protect. They're not trying to protect, and they're trying to provide so they could catch you. Because after they catch you, they're not providing.
but you see, it's only a certain set of women would get caught like that.
Exactly. And these are the kind of women that are attracted to these older guys. And what happens is, we are talking about guys in their, like, let's say 40s.
Yeah,
You get to
40s,
50s,
yeah.
you can kind of get a pass, well, depending on how you look.
The zaddies.
Then you get to 60 and you're trying to interfere with women in their 20s. And the women just laughing at you and saying, I wonder if he got money. Or if you're like me, you get offended because it's like what I look like.
Okay.
Why you feel like you're comfortable to come and look at me? Right? And then by the time you're 70 and you're back then, you need help, you're alone.
Correct.
Because there is nobody, when you were supposed to be settled,
Right.
or looking for somebody to settle down with, you were looking for that, you wanted to play the field, and you're still playing the field. You still feel, because the delusions in your head telling you that you could still play the field at 70.
Correct. But it's the age is much lower for a woman.
Not necessarily, because as a successful woman, you could find, especially a successful woman who, because remember, and even in terms of men, somebody who was 50, let's say 20 years ago, you realize they look different. A 50-year-old looks kind of different now. People not aging.
Aging as graceful as before.
People, no, I find like they're aging more gracefully.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even the other day I had a conversation about a woman who we feel old, like an old woman, right? And I was saying, but you know, she owns in very small, so she has to be.
Imagine that.
She has to, and the woman is only like 64 or something like that. So what happened to her when she was in her 20s? She had to look kind of old.
Yeah.
But people now are taking better care of themselves. They're dressing up a little more. So when you find a woman who is 50, that woman don't really look like they're 50, what you would think about as a 50-year-old now.
And it could even go back to what you said. Once you find a woman who is in that age range and not in a committed relationship, then it's only me one seeing what you have. It's only me one could identify. Well, yeah, you look good and you're aging gracefully, but how come you ain't got a husband? How come nobody really want you?
How the man them bad? Because you don't want to put up. I heard Halle Berry said the other day.
Bad?
I heard Halle, but the ones that you meet. I heard Halle Berry said the other day, you know, she said that she read all of these articles about her, and all of them saying, like, you know, Halle Berry can't keep a man. She's the most attractive woman, but she can't keep a man. And she's like, well, who tell them I won't keep these men? Because if I make a choice to be with a man and he turns out to be, after, and we speaking, I'm putting myself in her shoes, he turns out to be a gold digger, somebody who after my money, somebody who not really into me, but then no, he got to go. But, and I kind of agree with her, because as a woman, for you to get up and leave a relationship, it is always difficult because the society can always have a lot of things to say about you. When a man gets up and decides, I can't do this anymore, nobody gonna be saying, it's kind of expected, you know? And the woman down the street, it's not gonna say, oh, but you know, he not stable because he just left his wife. All of them gonna be flocking to you.
That's a fact.
When a woman leaves her man, oh, she got to be problematic. I remember, you know, I had a relationship that went south. I wouldn't say I did the leaving, but we left. He left, I left, we left
Mm-hmm.
at different points, but even it all worked out to be the same thing. And I don't even think that I was 30 yet. I don't think so. And the things that I heard about myself,
Right.
oh, I don't know that red skin girl would have do he bad, you know. And you're like, but me and even do the man nothing.
Yeah.
We just were not compatible. And that is why I'm able to speak about compatibility. Because sometimes in your utopian mindset, you feel like opposites attract and we can
Right.
figure it out. There's some differences that you just can't.
You gotta be equally yoked.
Yeah, you just can't.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't, well, it worked for some people, it didn't work for me. If you want to do it and you're brave, go through. Have fun, enjoy. Some people like adventure. But I heard a lot of things about myself.
Yeah.
And then I remember like talking to guys after that, and people would go to the guy and be like, well, yeah, now she so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you already know that she did carry a man in the man house. And I'm like, first of all, I never live in the man house.
Mm.
You know? But people just had all kind of negative stories to say about me.
Right.
Because society always vilifies the woman in those situations. So a lot of times women are afraid, not me, I'm not afraid. But a lot of times women are afraid to leave.
I find it something it's not afraid per se is you weigh out your options and instead of out there knocking about yourself.
But then do you have to knock about yourself?
Well, you see, as I said, most
Because
women
you could choose to be alone.
most women need to be provided for and most women need to be protected and most women need leadership. And so can I get it out there? Can I risk my the 80% that I'm getting for the 20% that I don't really too like?
But then you really think most women need leadership?
Yeah,
You feel so?
yeah. Not in a bad way where I gotta come and tell you every day you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah,
I feel that women, because we have women in leadership roles now,
yeah.
and I feel that I feel that a lot of women are taught that they need leadership. So their thought patterns are, I need a guy who's gonna provide for me. And then it's crazy because we're raising our daughters and we're telling them to provide for themselves. You understand? We raise
Mm.
our children and we tell them you don't need anybody to provide for you, be independent. But we still have this mindset that if a woman is so independent, she's problematic.
Not really, because I still can respect a woman who is an independent thinker.
You,
I don't want to come every day and say, this cover here great. I say, yeah man, it's great. And I come and say, well, the tablecloth purple. Yeah.
you, but
It can't function
but
like that.
you know
There is no
that's
objectivity.
you. But you know there are some men who will always like women to be below them.
Oh no.
There are some men who don't even want women to be educated. And it's crazy because I was gonna tell that story before. Because a lot of these guys who want to control people, grown adults, they want to control grown adults and they want to lead grown women. When their daughters become a certain age, they don't want anybody to treat their children like that.
Yeah.
Right? They always teach their children, you don't need a man for anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So why is it that they feel it necessary to treat women like this because something in you has to be wrong, has to know that what you are doing is wrong. Otherwise, you would raise your daughter to be subservient. You would raise your daughter to be dependent.
Correct. Yeah. And that's the reality of it. You would want it to happen out there, but you wouldn't want it to happen here in your circle and in your environment. And you correct to a certain extent. Um, and that's why you see men just end up beating women and doing a lot of horrible stuff because they don't want to be challenged. I want us not, I don't want to be challenged either, but I want us to have a conversation about whatever it is that needs to be discussed. Where you could say, hey, listen, you was wrong yesterday. And I could be man enough to admit and say, hey, listen, I apologize.
And sometimes it goes back to knowing your partner too. Because if I am with you and I know you don't like when I say X to you, I'm not going to say X to you.
Right.
But there are some women who, because they're upset, I'm into. Because they're upset, they want it to hurt.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
cannot approach a relationship like that. It's not a war. You live with the person. So, and then you have to remember, again, the bigger picture. Because if we fight like cats and dogs today, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Especially if we have children, we're gonna be good tomorrow because trust me, if you treating me like I'm an enemy today, bet your life I'm gonna be your enemy tomorrow. Eh? And not forgetting like that.
I'm supposed to be your biggest cheerleader, and you're supposed to be my biggest cheerleader. And we might have a disagreement, but for me, our disagreement should be at home,
Exactly.
where you could reprimand me. Hey, listen, what you did there wasn't cool.
But some people in relationships with the very weapon that form against them. You choose to be with you're sleeping every night. I've noticed I said people because men and women, you're sleeping every night with the very weapon that was formed against you.
Yeah.
Because there is no way I could be in a relationship with somebody that hates me and treating me like you hate me every day. Like why?
But sometimes maybe the biggest form of manipulation is where I have the carrot and the stick in the same hand. The carrot and the stick is in the same hand. So I come and I know one or two things that you like, and I offer it, and at the same time I slap it out your hand. And they give you some compliments and say, you know, it could be better, but you just need to stop
So
playing
the
with your head
manipulation,
and
yeah.
the emotions, and
then
you know
make
already.
the woman, you make the person feel like they are the victim. They
Right.
are the problem.
And so, you know how let's get away when you tell me these things, and so that's why I had to beat you up. But I love you, come let's go sleep. Come let's go on the strip. Come let's go there.
And Jamie gonna be thinking about how I could poison you. Cool and calm. Because there is no way you could beat me up today and me and you good tomorrow. I don't have that kind of forgiving spirit.
Yeah, but
I am not that kind of person.
What if I make you feel, or what if I can convince you that you should cause this upon yourself? Because I talk to you. Look how someone tell you. But when you come home, make sure the
First
dishes
of all-
them wash. You're watching Young and the Restless and these things, and you're not me like
First
them.
of all-
But I allow you to watch them. I allow you to watch them when me in there.
You see that word alone?
And so, by the time I come home, I still got home to a dirty house.
But you see,
And I bang you last week over the same thing. And I come back this week to do the same thing.
I'm starting to hyperventilate. But you see, again, you want to treat a woman like they're your child. No man can talk to me so. Period. You can try it once.
So how come we had I gave you some licks last week about the dishes, and I still got to come back this week and get the same licks about the dishes. But yeah, last week.
Because you're right. Because when she get the licks last week, she was supposed to be gone. Right? She was supposed to be gone. And if you want the dishes washed so badly, wash them yourself.
So
You
you're
have
here,
hands.
what are you here
So
for?
what are you here for?
To get the dishes them washed?
So I supposed to work, look after children, and come home and the dishes are my responsibility. Washing the wares are my responsibility.
Listen, right? When I was younger, a bit more younger, I didn't want my woman working. Not for stupid reason. I wanted the responsibility of taking care of her.
So what she was gonna be doing?
Taking care of the house, the household and all that. That's my responsibility as a provider.
And her
No,
responsibility.
you could have had a university degree, and I make up in my mind, hey, listen, this is
And
my
what changed your mind
responsibility.
from that?
life boy, and labor. It's hard. So you got adapt to it to what going on. But yeah, that is what I would have wanted.
And for me, I
For the
was,
most part, my mom was home dealing with us and
yeah, but
leaving the
your
house.
mom was also an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So
After a while,
that's not a good example because she was a strong woman
yes.
who had an entire school.
Hmm.
And back then, that wasn't the norm,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? But I remember I was in a relationship with a man who told me don't work. The next day I look at job card like, oh, because my thing is, I grew up seeing women being beaten because they're not working and they have to ask the man to give them what they need. So I remember one time I met a lady, and as I said, I'm the kind of person I don't have to walk into the wall to know it's a wall. A lady asked a man for a shoe, a pair of shoes, a man that she was with. And he was like, well, what happened to the pair of shoes I buy you last year? And I said, oh, well, I don't be able to buy my own shoes, man. Ask anybody for no shoes.
So hold on. So what you're trying to tell me, if we are in a committed relationship, there is no cheating going on, there is mutual respect, there is communication, there is everything, and I decide, listen, honey, I don't want you to worry about anything. As a matter of fact, I really don't even want you to work. I want you to stay home, take care of the kids, take care of the household, and we have a structure in place where, listen, we have date nights where it's just both of us, and we have date nights or family nights where we could go out with the kids for dinner or go out for lunch, and we have a balanced social relationship and personal relationship where we could go out and have fun. We could do carnival or jugaman or whatever they have in town, and we could still construct what we have going on. And you're part, as I'm an entrepreneur, you're part of my business, but you are part of my business from home. What would cause you the next day to go and find a job? And you know that you're properly provided for, and you know you're properly taken care
A
of.
sense of independence. Because in the back of my mind, it's always gonna be just like how he's giving me all of this, he could take it away.
No, no. I'm talking about that where everything is in my name and you could
No,
go
but
to.
that's what's gonna
But
be always in the back of my mind.
because, listen, if I said, hey, listen, we married, we've been together for all of these years, we know each other inside out, we are comfortable with each other, I love you and you love me. So listen, I'm gonna put your name on my house. You're gonna have your own car because you might go to a supermarket and pick up the kids from school and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, but the day you decide that we're no longer together, it's gonna be how am I gonna provide for myself after that? Yeah, I have the car. Yeah, I have the house. But how am I gonna feed myself? How am I gonna clothe myself
But
after the relationship
if the
fails?
relationship starts on that bad foot where, boy, if he go, then I'm left here all alone, then you're gonna end up there.
Not
Because
necessarily, but you
once
have. I
once you
feel
don't put that
like
in the back of your
I
head,
feel like in life you always have to have a plan B. So for me, my plan, or what happened if something happened? Maybe he doesn't leave, but what happened if something happens to him? I need to be able to step up and take care of him the way he was taking care of us.
good point. Good point. But still, if that was something that I was pursuing at this point in time, I believe that I could take my responsibility, and your responsibility is to provide emotional support for me while I go out and conquer the world. And you
Anyway,
know, right.
anyway, we're gonna
So, not truly that involved in that there.
yeah, we're getting back to the thing because we have to wrap up. What advice would you give to the woman?
To her,
Yeah.
obey your husband.
What?
Obey your husband. That's what it is. Obey your husband.
And
He
I
knows
feel,
best.
and I feel like every week I give the same advice to the women. Be happy. Choose a life that is going to make you happy. And if that means leaving the man, leave the man.
Listen, at 43 years old, you are not supposed to be worried about being happy. Happiness is a luxury. Life is very, very, very difficult. And especially under labor. So if you live a life that is full, happiness is an additive to it. Because now you have two children to look for. When you have children to look for,
So
happiness
life,
is the least.
so life already difficult. And you mean to tell me I must tie up myself with a man that making it worse?
No, but you see, that's when you got the wrong man. If you have a man who's
Exactly.
providing good leadership,
So we're on the premise that she has the wrong man for her. So be happy, choose happiness, choose your children, because you don't want your children to grow up in that toxic environment and leave he doesn't move out.
Listen.
He probably had a woman down the road to move out with. He was looking for an excuse. Don't be fooled, be smart.
Hold on there, Jamie. If your significant other tells you,
My significant other will not tell me
hold on,
whatever
now,
you're going to tell me.
no, he can tell you it. No, if your significant other tells you, listen, I'm going over on the ship with the boys tonight.
No, that's not a problem. Why would that be a problem?
Hold on, then the problem ain't there. The problem is, you come home from work, tired like a dog, you've done deal with homework, one the children them sick, and the next one got a project that they got handling, and you want a little help. And the best thing he could do is tell you, I don't work hard today out in the sun, yeah, and I need a little 5 minutes on my partner want to talk to me. So I'll go in on this trip. You would say, yeah, honey, go ahead. Or you would say, hey, listen, man, you're going, but
Not tonight.
not tonight.
Yeah.
So here's it again. You're telling him, hey, listen, you had plans, but I need you to
But
cancel those
you're not
plans.
telling him, listen, under no circumstances you're leaving this house tonight. What you think this is? That's not the way you're talking to him. That's not the way I would approach him.
Because he's the man that can speak to him like that.
Oh, but the man's supposed to tell her, you ain't going Trinidad. Otherwise, I going.
But that's that's something totally different. That
And,
you're hitting the Richter scale
and then the
up
thing
there.
is, women would do that. Women would start a big argument. Well, how you feel you're going to go and leave me with that? And that's not right either.
Because I fully
Explain to
feel,
the man.
I
Well,
fully feel
listen.
if you want to go, it should once the thought click in your mind, that's where the conversation should start.
And I might just said, if he want to go, let he go. Because if you see me in a house frustrated because all of these things going wrong and you
can't
get up and decide
identify
you're
it.
going, well, go.
And-
Maybe you're more stressed. Maybe you had a bad day. So go.
And for me, it's that where you have to be able to understand the current situation that you're involved in, where you know that we're trying to get a loan from the bank, you know we're trying to build, you know we're trying to further our lives independently and conjointly. You know we got the kids, we know we got school fees to pay, electricity, water, and everything, and we ain't getting the budget boost wallet, and you know all these things happening, and you still want to take the money and go down Trinidad and spend it up. So you don't care about what's going on here. You just care about your emotional state and the short-term
But no,
gratification that you're looking for.
The emotional state important. Because if I go crazy and I had these children looking up to me, and I had to look after you, and I had to look after everybody, and I go crazy, well, what's going to happen to you all
To us,
after I then end up in the psychiatric ward?
well,
Oh,
once I got visitation,
you know what gonna happen?
Once I got visitation,
You know what gonna happen?
visited,
He gonna go by the same woman he got down the street. Leave the man. He was looking for an excuse to move out anyway. Okay? And on that note, this was another episode of Listen This. We'll have another hot topic coming to you shortly.